Friendship is forever. No, it's not. No, it's not. Were they even friends in the first place? That's my question. Yeah. Were they even friends in the first place? Sometimes I will literally, like in my darkest moments, I'll ask myself, have I ever had a friend? Like, what is a friend? Have I ever genuinely had a friend? And I know that there's people out there that follow me that consider themselves their friend, my friend, and will be watching this and be like, they will be shocked that I would even ask that question. But it's like, that's how mental illness works. I don't know whether it's even considered mental illness to question yourself whether you've ever had a friend. So let's rewind. I what is a friend? Like first we have to analyze what is a friend. A friend is someone in the first to me, the first thing is a friend is someone that doesn't leave. That's a friend. Friend is someone that doesn't leave. There may be slight fluctuations. And so, but a friend is someone that once they're there and then once it's not really specified whether you're friends sometimes. You don't really sort of like, are you my friend? Are we friends? Is this a friendship? Because sometimes it could be family, you know what I mean? And that line, like, some people, they're siblings, they're cousins, they're also friends. And it's like, how do you manage that whole situation and the webbings of that? Because they have a Lego, because they're family. So, you know what I mean? They know you a little bit more. Whereas a complete stranger that is not part of your family comes into your circle, it's like, okay. So those are the questions. Those are the valid questions that I pose. What is a friend? I'm sure that you yourself, as the new year enters, are asking yourself, what is a friend? So for the sake of the experiment, it's someone that stays. So with that in mind, I would have to say I have one, two, three, four friends. I have always had four friends, and they're mostly family. They're all family, actually. They're all immediate family, because they know me. They've seen all different, the rainbow of who I am, and these are people that I've lived with. So of course they have seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and they're like, I'm still here. You know what I mean? And I really deeply appreciate that because I totally understand that I'm intense. I'm intense. So I appreciate that. I totally appreciate that. So with that being said, right now we look at people who come into my life. I go all the way back to when I was in Peru. I always felt like I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember anybody that I have. Pedro, maybe. I don't know. That's the first name that got Pablo. I don't know whether someone with a P. I feel like John Edwards, like someone with a P was your friend out there. I'm like, yeah, because they were my friend and I should remember that, but I don't remember any of it. Um, so I don't remember Maribel, Marjong and Maribel. I think they're twins and I dated them both. I don't know. You're a kid, this stupid stuff. I don't know. And that's why we stopped being friends because they didn't know that I was dating both of them. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I do remember that. Uh, so, but oh, like, and I just said names. I'm sure people like, we found them. I'm like, what? From Peru. Okay, the point is, I don't remember a lot of people's names and I consider myself more of a toy. Basically, I've always considered myself more of a toy, Pinocchio syndrome, Always having to impress, always having to do my little song and dance for you. And the moment I stop song and dancing, the moment I become real, moment I become an actual human being with emotions and thoughts and perhaps thoughts that you may not agree with and I'm dealing with, that's when you're like, okay, I only paid for this part of the show. I didn't pay for all of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and go bye-bye. And so I've always kind of known that, like at the soul of my person, even when I was 7, even when I was 8, I knew I'm always performing. People are not going to stay. They're going to leave. That's what I always knew. And so I think to a certain degree, when I came to this country, it gave me the freedom to say like, "Fuck y'all," like, you know, and just be like, I don't need to. And when I went back, I was very much disconnected. They knew me. I had no idea who any of these people were. Like, I just was completely checked out. And I think that sometimes because maybe I am so deeply disconnected, I sometimes think to myself, like, "Oh, I'm the one who brings people together, blah, 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 blah." But at the end of the day, when I really sit down and take account, oh, there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know? So, just because of that sense of righteousness, that sense of like, I spiritually know what's right. And I think that a lot of times people are like, well, why did this person do this? Because I spiritually, the universe and the heavens have spoken to me, and I feel I need to be of this way and communicate in this way and give of this message. And it may break all your fucking dishes as I pull the table off I pull the tablecloth off the table. But hey, you can get new dishes and they'll be brand new, or you can go to Japan and glue them all back up like with gold, and it'll be better. Even though you're not Japanese and you don't follow their customs, but whatever. Get over it. You know, that kind of attitude. Uh the point is, what were we talking about? We were talking about friendships. So yeah, so I've always felt like a toy. I've always felt like I was someone's toy. And so flash forward, being here, I've always, I had some friends and I usually was like I would sit behind a tree and I would have like people sitting around me like my prophets, you know, my cult. And that's how I felt. And I would have a book where I would write my secrets and my thoughts about high school and I would charge people 25 cents to read it. And then it later became a zine, but it actually had valid content. Uh, and then I ran for senior class president, and it was a tie between the two people. I was the Jill Stein. I was the Bernie Sanders. So, so yeah, but my campaign was good though. So it was Spaceman, and it was to that song that everybody's like, the Four Non Blondes that everybody's all loving now. So the point is friendship. So yeah, so high school. Do I talk to anybody from high school? No, I don't. I think that we've moved on. We've all changed. I think the person that they knew kind of died. Like that Francisco Newman or whatever they called it, that died a long ass time ago. Francisco Newman, it does not exist. It hasn't existed for a very long fucking time. And who was Francisco Newman? Francisco Newman was still kind of a little bit of me, but a lot more shy and a lot more scared. A lot more scared. And a lot less. A lot less like a lot more scared, basically. Like when you're going into freshman, it's like, the good thing is that I had a posse. I was scared, but I had a big posse. So, like I was kind of mousy, and then I had, my bitches. And I mean that in a positive way. They'd be like, "You fucking say shit to him. We're gonna fuck you up. We're gonna mess you. We're gonna shut the fuck up, little man." Like they would all like they would when somebody would be like, "Guys, I'm gonna fight you because of that one thing you said," and I probably did say it. Oh, I would have like, seven girls be like, oh, you know, all ranges from chola to Gothic. Chola, Gothic, everything in between. At different times, and because I would always have like kind of like a posse of girls. So, and I would bring the Cholas and the Gothics together. So it was really beautiful. And I would always send trends. But it doesn't about me a high school. The point is, I always felt like a tool, and I'm probably a tool. So yeah. So flash forward through my entire. I've had friends. Now we're gonna get deep. I've had friends. I'm the kind of person that instinctually, like, I know we are infinite. So, like, if someone is threatening somebody else, anybody else, I will like stand in front of them and be like, no, you can't hurt this person, because you got to hurt me first. I'm that kind of person. It physically happened to me. Now, not Francisco Newman, Francesco Rengifo. That person will do that. Or maybe I'll run. I don't know. Maybe I've changed yet. I haven't had it happen in a while. The point is that I would like to believe that friendship is forever, and that like if you are willing to give someone bone marrow, that they're gonna be your friend forever. rather than like if you owe them $100, then all of a sudden like, see ya, bye bye. After like all the times you held their head when they were drunk and like all these things and whatever. Like people that you consider best friends, those people should never, if the words, that's my best friend, if that person at a certain point in time is no longer your friend, that's really fucking sad. That's really fucking sad. If you have gone on trips with people, and I will take responsibility for a lot of that, you know what I mean? A lot of this, and I'm not saying it's my fault. I was like, if you've gone to other countries with people and you're no longer speaking to that person, that's really fucking sad. Now they must have done something really, really fucked up. You know what I mean? But did they like ask yourself like if they did, then totally valid question, like they had a threesome with your brother and your dog and Janine Garofalo and they did not invite you. And you were like, what? I don't want to have anything to do with your dog. The other two, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. That involves touching people, and we don't do that. The point is that Janine Garofalo, friendships. So yeah, so flash forward, do I feel at this moment in time, do I feel like I've ever had a friendship? Friendship shouldn't be work. And if you feel like you're working, that's not a friendship. And there's people that I've had in my life that I consider like we're close. I love them deeply. I care about them and I like would do a lot for them, but I don't consider them a friend because friendship is trust. And if I don't trust the people and friendship is not work, and if you have me to work, like if it feels like a chore, if you're having to walk through landmines, if to not upset people and not talk about certain things and this and that, and it's like tiptoe around this and tiptoe around that, that's not a friendship. That is not a friendship. That is basically you having to work around someone's emotions and feelings about whatever perception they may want and have of you and they will never, maybe they will accept you as a whole at some point, maybe they won't. That's not your fucking problem. You just got to be you. You got, if you're having to tiptoe, those are really common. Those are really common where it's like, are we friends? I'm not sure. It's like, no, that's not a friendship. That's not a friendship. It's you having to tiptoe around and like, you know what I mean? Like, and I have people in my life that totally disagree with some shit that I say, totally, and will totally call me out on it. And those people are still my friends. Those people are still my friends, and I consider them my friends because they call me out on it. And they know how to call me out on it, you know what I mean? And they know, like and it's not about them, it's not about how they feel about the situation, it's about the impact that I may be having in the world and how I may be coming across. So it's more of a warning, and so, like, people that are friends will step up and be like, "Hey," these videos always they're like, "I have nothing," and then all of a sudden they're like, "I have everything." It's like therapy, right? Is it therapy for you? I hope it's therapy for you. So yeah, so I started off saying like I don't have friends, and I would have to say that yeah, I do have some friends. I do have at least four friends that I really care about, that I really trust. The rest of the people are acquaintances. I know that's hard to swallow, but it's like, there's that it's a friend also has to be someone that tries, someone that is constantly like, how are you doing? What's going on with you? And I know that people are there in case of emergencies, and I totally appreciate that people have been there for me and it's like and that's wonderful and that's caring, but that's not friendship. That's like someone that you care about. And I think then the question becomes, should we have a large number of friends or not? I posed that question to you. Should you have a large number of friends or not? I know the back to Kathy Griffin because the AI loves me and Kathy Griffin and us going to Paris and being all besties. My Perry Kathy Paris style. Um, then what I say is do like how she does. She has a salon, where she invites a certain number of people, and it's like that's my crew. So I think I may do that. I think I may do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I will let you know in the comment section down below. And I love you. And no, I'm not gonna let you know what I'm doing for my birthday. Who the fuck are you? to know what I'm doing for my birthday. I'll send you pictures later, or maybe I won't. I don't know. But either way, I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful eternity.